Cretaceous sequence was a really wonderful opportunity to see something that nobody in the Jurassic franchise has ever shown before.
It was intended to be the opening of the film, and in the extended version it is. It's something that we're all deeply proud of. I really feel like I'm there on the ground 65 million years ago watching these animals exist in their natural habitat.
We wanted to try and capture it in the way that a wildlife documentary would capture that action. So we looked at many nature documentaries and studied the use of lenses, of long, graceful panning shots on nodal tripods.
That's kind of a dream sequence. I felt like we were kind of teleported back to that period of time, and that's what fascinates me about dinosaurs, imagining what they would look like and just being in that sort of alien environment.
Colin came to us and said he was looking at barren and alien and untouched landscapes, and that it hasn't changed for hundreds of millions of years. So I still harbour thoughts that the whole idea for the Cretaceous period sequence was born out of Colin's desire to have a title card in his movie that said 65 million years later. And that was the reason that he's dreamt up this entire sequence.
So beautiful.
It's the first and my favourite sequence in the whole movie.
There were 34 different dinosaurs in the Cretaceous sequence and would really introduce all the dinosaurs that we then later on would see in the movie.
We have a Quetzalcoatlus, Oviraptor, and a T-Rex, all of which have some form of feathers.
The Quetzalcoatlus was a beautiful setup. I just think it really sold the strangeness of that creature, the stature of it, the weight of it, the way it landed. I just think that's a beautiful shot.
Obviously, we created the Cretaceous version of the T-Rex, which we tried to create more accurately in terms of paleontology. So we did loads of research on what paleontologists feel the dinosaur actually looked like. So he has slightly browner skin, so we went slightly further away from the Stan Winston for the Cretaceous sequence. And then we added all of the proto-feathers because we wanted him to be anatomically correct. One of the biggest challenges for the Cretaceous sequence is that we get a super close-up on her face, and the original textures that we painted for the T-Rex were never designed to be that close to camera. So we had to do quite a lot of up-res work in that area, improving the features and the details, particularly the eye. And to get reference for those, we did go back to the Stan Winston animatronic eyes because we wanted it to be that really nice, vivid yellow. So a mixture of research, reference, but then also looking at real-world references too, which was just a whole extra level of coolness.
The sequence recontextualizes the ending of the film. It gives it much more power and much more weight because we understand that the T-Rex is avenging her own death 65 million years later.
The second half of the sequence is the T-Rex drive-in scene.
It starts with a brilliant cut, and it takes us into the T-Rex escaping a chase from a helicopter through a forest.
The T-Rex has been living in an area not far from where I grew up in Northern California, and we were thinking about what piece of civilization will you meet as you get closer to a town. And a drive-in came up. So this is Nolan, this is my son, like in real life. In Jurassic World, he played a character.
I was on the back of a baby Triceratops, and I got attacked by pteranodons.
So it's 5 years later.
I'm back, and I'm bringing the popcorn back to the car, and my luck goes bad again.
This is like the worst possible luck this kid has.
Yeah.
And now come on up.
A lot of moving parts, but it's going to be great.
And 3, 2, 1, action. And cut.
All right, that was great, Nolan. Good job, guys.
So the drive-in movie sequence was interesting for me personally because that was actually the first environment that I set up. That was also filmed in a park near South London and some forest out there. It's shot at night, so one of the only light source is the movie projector.
In that sequence, we really wanted to create a sense of not just reality, but proximity. We show the dinosaur as just feet or a tail, just little pieces of her, until you get to see this extraordinary shot that ILM pulled off where we were projecting onto the screen.
The brilliant thing about this sequence is the T-Rex rampages through the middle of the drive-in, and the projector breaks, and the T-Rex has her silhouette thrown up against the screen. The first thing I thought is, how do we actually get the burn-in of the T-Rex and her shadow onto the screen on the day when we're filming So we actually rendered the T-Rex shadow and burnt that and comped it into the footage so that when we played it back on the day, you could see her silhouette and her outline on the screen on set. And then the amazing thing about that was when you turned around, there was this T-Rex's silhouette in the beam of the projector. It was like she'd actually come to life.
To me, it's our most successful visual effects shot because she really feels like she's there. And starting off the film with, in some ways, the most like classically Jurassic kind of sequence.